in
verse 22, the portion is Haazinu.
Okay,
And
thank you.
We're going to go to verse 1. Okay. Again, this is our one world session. Wherever it is that we are studying the Zohar and connecting to the flawless universe, the realm of Binah, where all fulfillment exists. And so towards that end, we want to have in mind everyone we know who needs healing. We want to have everyone in mind, people that we know who have elevated, their souls, whose souls have elevated recently, or even not so recent. We definitely have in mind our teacher, Rabbi Michal, the Rav, in mind, because today is his anniversary of elevation. So we have an extra special, we can always connect to the Rav, but we have an extra special ability to connect to the Rav today. And so today's a great day to light a candle to kind of enhance that connection and forge a stronger connection to his soul. It's Harav Shraga Feivel ben Yechiel Michal. And we also want to have in mind connecting to the energy of Avat Chinam, unconditional love, again, healing, as I mentioned, removal of chaos, removal of conflict in our world, and also connect to the energy of how we all need to treat everyone with human decency, no matter who they are and what we might potentially feel about them. We still want to treat everyone with human decency. So this week, well, we had Yom Kippur. That was a big day. But it's still a big week because here we are with these new souls that we received on Rosh Hashanah. Like, it's maybe it's a limited, well, it's definitely a 1% analogy I'm going to share, but like, imagine when you get a new car. It's like so novel, it's so cool, that new car smell. It's like every time you get in the car, you think of your car. It's like you have this like kind of like little joy there, but it's conditional joy. The joy is conditional on the car being new. Eventually the car is not going to be new. You're just going to like your car, let's say, but it's not going to feel the same. And that's the 1% realm. Things, it just seems like joy is not sustainable. Happiness is not sustainable. But that's an illusion. What do you mean it's an illusion? I really get in the car right now. It doesn't feel the same as it did when I first got it. I understand that. But that joy, that is illusory joy. We want unconditional joy and unconditional happiness. We don't want our joy and happiness based on externals. We want it coming internally. We want it coming from inside. I mean, this distinction between externals and internal, I don't know, like I only heard it from the Rav and our other teachers. Like I don't even think the first time I heard it, I understood what they were saying. I know I didn't understand what they were saying. So what does the Rav mean to us? The Rav is like, what's it mean? Rav is like, the Rav like gave us a whole perspective on life that we didn't have before. Maybe a little bit here and there. He gave us a perspective on life. What do you mean he gave it to us? It's like, did he really give it? Yeah, he really did. Of course, with the assistance of Karen too, but that's what the Rav represents. Like, it's next level consciousness for him. And that's why among the things he would always say, consciousness is everything. So like, if I know that I have joy in my life that's conditional, there's nothing wrong with that. Let's just acknowledge it's based on externals. And let's not try to replace unconditional joy and happiness with conditional joy and happiness. There's nothing wrong with buying a new car or buying a new shirt and feeling good about it. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's conditional and it's limited because we live in a world where, from a physical perspective, nothing feels sustainable. Nothing feels sustainable. That's the 1%. I'm sorry, June, you have to go. But you may have caught the best of class. So I'm just saying. So take that. That's enduring right there. Take that with you. So, as we think about today and everything that's going on, we need to think about the Rav, the impact the Rav had in our lives, and we need to have appreciation for that. Now, appreciation is also one of those things. Okay, I know I have to appreciate. What do I appreciate? Well, that's what I'm saying. Let's appreciate the ways in which what the Rav did, the light that the Rav revealed, the impact it's had on us. Not where we are and where we could be, where we are and where we were. That gain, that's significant. That is real. That is us really manifesting more of our soul directly because of the connection we have with the Rav. Now, that's by way of background. Moses is about to leave the physical world. In the narrative that we are connecting to, which is Haazinu. It's Haazinu and the V'zot HaBracha. V'zot HaBracha is the last portion. It will be read a week from Monday on Simchat Torah, depending on actually whether you're doing an Israeli observance or an American observance. At the Kabbalah Center, they do an Israeli observance, so there's only one day. And so Simchat Torah and Shmini Atzeret are both on Monday. And so, but the rest of America, Simchat Torah is actually Tuesday, actually everywhere all over the world. Anyhow, so that's where we finish the Torah reading and we read it again. We right away. It's a cycle. It's the circle. We finish it, but we never finished. We go right on back to Breshit. So this is the continuity of all things. It's not just continuity of the reading of the 5 books of Moses. It's the continuity of life. Again, life doesn't end. Nothing ends. Your joy doesn't end either. It's just a matter of tapping into it, of connecting to that part of our soul. So anyhow, Moses is going to leave the people. And so part of what Moses is doing is trying to leave them with as much of an understanding of what's going on for them and what they're about to encounter as he can, because they're no longer going to have a direct connection to Moses. So that brings us to verse 1 of Haazinu. Now, another thing, you'll notice this in your Kabbalistic 5 books of Moses, Chumash. But when you see them lift the Torah up tomorrow morning, you'll see something visually that we don't ordinarily see. The Torah is written in columns. There's a number of columns. I forget how many columns it is, but there's a number, obviously, and a number of significance, but there are columns. The thing about Haazinu is it's a little unusual. The beginning starts off in one column, and then it splits into double columns. What? Yeah. Like I say, it's all one font size, except when it isn't, because there are exceptions that are important. There's no punctuation, except there are dots every so often, which are very significant. And everything is written in a column with spaces. Those spaces are important, but it's one column, except Haazinu is double columns. Why? So it's single column, double column, followed by double column, single column. Single column, double column. What's that look like? If you can't see what I'm showing up, it looks like a triangle. Single column at the top, 2 columns underneath. 3 columns. Followed by just the reverse. A single column at the bottom, 2 columns on top. Another triangle upside down. This is the upper triad and lower triad of the Magen David, otherwise known as the Star of David. But we know it's the Shield of David. And what does that represent? That represents the 6 Sfirot, the upper realm that we are connecting to. So part of what we get is the protection of the upper realm in the reading. It's part, we're always getting that, but we're getting an extra special dose this, when we read Haazinu. Again, this is Moses leaving. He's trying to give us as much as he can. Okay, verse 1. Haazinu Shemayim v'adabe Rabbi Tishma Aretz Imrei Fi. Rabbi Yehuda Patachti ani ledodi chamak abar v'gomer. Bakashtihu v'lo matzatiu karativ v'la anani. Makativ la'ela ani yeshena v'libi v'gomer. Ani yeshena amra knesa Israel. Ani yeshena mipi kude oraita zimna da'azilna be'madbara. V'libi la'ala la'ar'a l'mevad luhu nimusin daha. Kol pikude oraita be'ar'a mishtakhin. Kol dodidofek da Moshe. De'ochach l'Yisrael b'chama v'kuchin. B'chama ketatin. Dichtid ela hadarim v'gomer. Mamrim hayitem v'gomer. U'v'chorev hichtzaptem v'gomer. Hadahu dichtid dofek. Okay. So would someone like to volunteer to read English for us today? Big day, assistance of the Rav. Okay, Phyllis. Sorry, Maria, I saw her hand first. You got to turn your mute off.
Okay.
And by the way, any questions so far before we go into the English? Anything coming up for anybody? Okay. Jump in at any time. Go ahead, Phyllis.
Okay. Give ear, O heavens, and I will speak, and hear, O earth, the words of my mouth.
Okay,
Rabbi
so
Yehuda,
that's Dvarim 32:1. This is the title verse from this portion of Haazinu. So, it's about messages. It looks like it's about messages, right? Haazinu literally means give ear. Now, we've talked about intuition before. It can be things that you feel. It can be stuff that just pops into your head. It could be things that you see. It could be things that you hear. When we start off a Zohar, many Zohars start off, Tachazeh, come and listen. This is a Torah portion that's saying, Haazinu, give ear. So we're getting the ability to hear messages. What kind of messages? Well, at a very basic level, the messages we need to hear to align ourselves with our souls, to manifest our soul's purpose. Hearing the things we need to hear so that we know we're doing the work we came here to do. Hearing the things we need to hear so we can hear the truth behind the words that people say to us. Yes, Stacy.
So for the Shema Israel, like Shema is also to hear, right?
Correct.
So is that also like related when we're doing the Shema, like we're drawing down the light? Is it through our ears?
Yes, listen, O Israel. But that's the word Shema. It's almost like call. But Lishmoa is to listen. But this is a little bit different because what's the Hebrew word? Yeah, ear. What's the Hebrew word for ear?
Ozen.
Ozen. So that's the root of Haazinu.
Oh,
Aleph
wow.
Zayin Nun. Ozen. So it's ear. It's literally give ear. It's not, we're not really being told to listen, we're told to give ear, but we always say, we'll say, hey, give a listen, give an ear, put right? It's different. It's a different level of hearing. I'm not sure what the different level is, but I'm saying it's different. It is different. It's something to think about. Maybe when you're giving your ear, what is an ear essentially? Listening is, so it's like, listen, when you listen, you can hear it, but you're not paying attention necessarily. So when someone says, hey, listen to me, they know that you hear them, but you're not paying attention. So Shema is like, it's a call of attention. Haazinu, ear, this is like a level of being fully invested. You're physical. What is the ear?
The portal.
It's a portal. The ear takes energy and transforms that energy into thought. and I'm not exaggerating, that is literally what happens. You're not hearing my voice, you are getting energy through your ear. The miracle of 21st century technology, 20th century technology. I'm sitting wherever I am, and you will sit wherever you can still hear me in your ear. I mean, this is new technology. It didn't used to be this way. You used to have to be in the room. Sir Alexander Graham Bell invented the phone. You had to be in a room with somebody. And that was not that long ago.
The ear is actually a microcosm of the whole body.
How
And when you,
so? How so?
well, when you look at it, it's an upside down baby, the fetus. And there's just all these points everywhere. You can do points and it affects the whole body.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So
Yeah.
it's there's so much energy in the
Yes,
ear.
it feels like we're being asked to be all in here.
Yeah.
It's a much greater call to action. Okay, so anyhow, this is our verse.
Where are we?
We are in Haazinu, volume 22, page 338, which is Haazinu,
I knew
paragraph
that.
1.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Phyllis, let's keep going. So,
Rabbi-
and in our verse, the Zohar is going to help us, specifically Rabbi Huda is going to help us understand this in a deeper way. But he's going to confuse us first, so just be prepared.
Great. Okay. Rabbi Yehuda opened with, I opened to my beloved, but my beloved had turned away and was gone. I sought him, but I could not find him. I called him, but he gave me no answer.
Sounds like somebody ghosted somebody, to use the common language, the modern language, right? What does that have to do with the opening verse? I'm looking and I can't find my beloved. I call him, but he doesn't answer. What's going on? Well, I'll tell you one thing that's going on. There's an ear involved when it comes to calling him, he doesn't answer. Is he really hearing me? But there's something going on. And in the first verse, we're being told to pay attention. Second verse, we're hearing a narrative of like, I can't find my beloved and I'm calling out and he's not answering me. So
Sounds like a bad J-date experience.
bad J-date experience. I shared a story in Kabbalah 1 last night. It was class 5 about a good J-date experience, because you bring up J-date, I feel like I have to share the story. Friend of mine in New York, he's on J-date and he connects with this woman. She's also in Manhattan and they get a conversation going or whatever. And they decide they're going to meet. So he's like, he's excited. He's going to meet her. On paper, everything looks great. The woman, though, there's a problem. The young woman did not create this posting on J-date. Her mother did. So now the mother has to go back to her daughter and find a way to get her to show up for this date.
Funny.
So I don't know what really the mom was going for, but she goes to her daughter and says, listen, I gotta tell you a little story. I created a J-date account for you and I found a guy and I want you to go meet this guy. And the daughter, I'm sure had to, what are you nuts, you controlling mom? Like, how could you? There's a whole conversation, but the daughter, being, a kind soul, decides she's gonna go to please her mother, but she's gonna be a little rebellious. So how does she show, what she do rebellious wise? She was teaching at the Heschel School in New York City. And I don't know if she was teaching art, I don't know what she did, but she had done art that day and she was covered like with paint and whatever and all, like it. She didn't do anything to like work on her appearance. She's going to show up this way. And this is how she compromises. She'll go up and she's not preparing herself for this meetup. And the meeting ensues under those circumstances. And they were married 6 months later.
Oh.
Oh,
I've always maintained when I'm like, oh, I can't go to the store like this. I'm like, I go to the store like this. and I meet my soulmate, it's only going to get better from here.
So that's the thing. It's like, we don't know. We don't know. She thought she was going to turn the guy off. She was that was her plan at a certain level. We don't know. We make all kind of plans. We don't know anything. And I don't think she came around at first either. By the way, they told me this story at a Pesach Seder. It was years ago.
Okay.
Anyhow, but I digress.
Just slightly.
No, but I tell you something. In the grand scheme of things, this is us understanding and something that Rob taught, which is it's something else that he taught that I didn't hear from anybody else, which was going beyond limitations. Again, we encounter a world, in his words, a fragmented world. We encounter a world where there's limitations. And part of his message is to go beyond limitations. We're not fragmented. We're one soul. There are no limitations. That's an illusion. Time is an illusion. We think we know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing. We have no clue. We're doing the best we can. I mean, we're here for crying out loud. Of course we're doing the best we can. But ultimately, we don't know. We don't know how things are going to play out. And yet we have to embrace this process. Because it's why our soul's here. Whatever the process is. It's why our soul's here. It's why our soul came here. Is to do the work. And so the processes, the challenges present themselves. And we're like, oh my God, I'm not doing that. Well, we want to think about that again. We want to give that a second thought about not doing it. Karen goes to the Rav and she says, I want you to teach me Kabbalah. And he's like, it's all in the book. Where's that book? An Unlikely Couple. I want to teach you Kabbalah. And he's like, in his head, and I'm sure he's not going to be insulting. He's like, what does he say? Let me think about that. Let me get back to you on that. He doesn't say yes right away because he knows limitations. He knows he's not supposed to do that. And then he goes back to meet her for breakfast, lunch at Ratner's on the Lower East Side, wherever they were. And he's prepared to tell her that he can't teach her because of these restrictions that have been in place for hundreds of years. And she says, before you tell me what you want to tell me, I need to tell you something. I had the most bizarre dream last night. Somebody came to me in the dream. And he says, explain to me what he looked like. I can't find my Rob Brandwine picture when I want it. Well, I guess that's supposed to be. He says, tell me what he looked like. And she doesn't recognize, there's some rabbi in a long coat with long sideburns and, a hat. And he realizes it's Rav Brandwine. And he realizes that was a message that he needs to be teaching her. And so, again, it's like, how did he find out about that? Well, she had the dream, but she told him. He listened to her words. Is he really listening to the words? No. Yes. No, he's connecting with the internal energy behind those words.
I think Rob Brandwine put his hands on her head in the dream too.
Did he?
Yeah. Like, he gave her the blessing. He gave her his blessing.
Yeah. That's good. That's a good little aspect of the story. But what does that communicate? Again, that's communicating the level of internal energy behind this experience. And so we will also want to connect to the internal energy behind everything we hear. Okay. Keep going, Phyllis.
Before that, it is written, I sleep, but my heart wakes. I sleep, says the congregation of
I
Yisrael.
sleep. Am I asleep or am I awake? Which is it?
Both.
Both?
Well, my
When you
body's
think of
sleeping.
heart, when you think of your heart awakening, what is that? What is it? You had a cup of coffee, you got stimulated by the caffeine? Like, what does it mean to have your heart waking? It's like an eternal thing. It's a spiritual thing. I sleep, but my heart awakes. This is like describing a spiritual awakening. Right? You're not going to have a spiritual awakening through intellectual pursuits. You can study all you want. It's not necessarily going to do it. People do. They study all that. They're committed scholars. They're not having necessarily spiritual awakenings. Who controls, where's the spiritual awakening coming from? It's a message from above. It's you're picked from above. We think, and Michael has pointed this out a bunch of times, we think we chose to be on this path. That's the way the universe wants us to look at it, because that's how we make sense out of things. Something happens and we need to understand why. We make sense out of it. How did I end up here? I made a decision to take a Kabbalah class, to take Kabbalah 1, to read a book. That's how I ended up here. I am in control. No, that's an illusion. We were picked for this. Anybody could have got picked for this. For some reason, we were picked for this. Why were we picked for this? No idea. I have no clue. I don't have any clue. It's not even like I have a little clue. I don't know. And it's something else that our teachers teach us. It's like we were guided here.
But we choose to stay. Do you think? Or
We merit to stay.
we merit to stay?
We
Okay.
merit to stay. It's a merit.
Because many people come, but not many people, not everybody stays.
I know. It's like, their journey, intersected with this path for a while. But yeah, then they, and sometimes they come back.
Right, some do.
Yes, Stacey.
So like we merit to stay through all of this study that we do, right? We're continuing to study. And so how do we know, like, am I studying for an intellectual purpose or am I studying for a spiritual purpose? Like, how does this intellectual, like, I know all about like these adventures of Rabbi Hia, Hiskaya, like Yehuda, like, Rabbi Shimon, like there's this great big adventure story. And how do I know if this is like for my intellectual happiness? Because I love intellectual and logical things.
Yeah,
or,
so do I, by the way.
But, or is like, how do I make this study like transition into my heart being awakened? Or is it like a balance of both? Like, am I jumping back and forth like a ping pong from Malhut to Yesod as we go through this process?
Yeah. So how do we do that? We always look for the internal energy. We're always looking for the internal energy. It's not the donut. It's the jelly on the inside. We're always looking for the internal energy. And you can feel it. And by the way, stuff happens. Challenges happen. People come into your life. And, we get confronted in a certain way. And on a 1% level, it doesn't feel right. Pause. It's not about, feelings can be misleading there. Like, I don't know why this person's in my life. So part of what we need to do is connect at a soul level to try and figure out what's really going on. What's really going on. But the place to start is I don't know what's going on. Even if it doesn't feel comfortable, I don't know what's going on. I know I'm uncomfortable, but that may be me connecting to my surrounding light. Like, when is my discomfort? When my discomfort is telling me not to do something, generally that's that's a sign not to do something. When my discomfort is about, I don't know what to do, well, stick around and let it play out. Wait for more clarity. Don't do anything. I think I shared, I had a situation where I said, if I had to go someplace, and I got a feeling like I shouldn't go. I don't get that all the time, but I got a strong feeling like to go. And I'm just saying, we've all had this. And in my head, I'm like, oh, I probably don't want to go because, I don't want to eat at that restaurant for whatever reasons. I don't feel like that kind of food tonight. I mean, that's what I was saying. I don't feel like I should go there. Probably I don't want to have that kind of food tonight. But the people I was going to meet went anyhow. And there was somebody there that created a bit of a drama. And it was clear later why I wasn't supposed to go. It wasn't the food. Like I tried to figure out. Wasn't that at all. It was the drama. I was protected from being part of that drama. Like, this is us listening to what's going on. And, part of what we're connecting to here is our ability to tap into our intuition, to hear the message the universe is saying. I've heard people say, why can't God just let us know what to do? And those messages are just showing up 24/7. That's the reality. But they're enclosed in physicality. It's the only way they can show up. They show up as physical energy. And then we have to try and unpack it to figure out really what's going on. Who is this person? Why are they just showed up in my life? What is the situation? Why is it showing up in my life? Why is this in my movie? I'm not saying you have to get the answer to the question, but you got to ask the question. Why is this in my movie? And there's always a reason. It just doesn't show up right away. Okay, so let's read on. Let's see what else the Zohar tells us.
I sleep away from the commandments of the Torah when I traveled the wilderness, but my heart wakes to bring them to the land of Yisrael to legislate laws for them.
Who are we talking about here? Who is this? So the Zohar is saying, oh, here's who it is. I sleep. What does that mean? That's the congregation of Israel. This verse from Shir HaShirim, Song of Songs, which I think I shared, there was a debate among the Kabbalists of the day whether Song of Songs should be included in the holy writings. Was it divinely inspired or was it just a poem? Because it reads like a love story. And the conclusion was, no, it reads like a love story, but it's a love story between the Creator and the children of Israel. And so the internal energy is divinely inspired. It's just the delivery system shows up as a poem, as a love story, as a love poem. So if you look at just the surface, then what's the point? But if you understand the internal energy, then you know it's divinely inspired. So this, in that verse from Song of Songs, what is the reference to? I sleep. It's the congregation of Israel. What, they're not following the rules? They didn't follow tax returns on time? No, they're not connecting to the internal energy behind the commandments. The commandments are also a delivery system, energy of protection, energy of blessings, energy of avoiding negativity. That's what these 613 commandments are all about. 248, 375, if my math is right. The 248 are the positive commandments. They're the things that we do to channel positive energy into our lives. The 375 negative commandments, restrictions, things not to do, are things to not do so we don't end up connecting to negativity. They were asleep. They didn't see the internal energy. Go ahead.
For all the commandments of the Torah are present in the land of Yisrael. Hark,
by the way,
my
there's a
beloved
thing.
is knocking.
There's a thing. All these commandments only apply when you're in the land of Israel. They don't apply here? No. I know, right? That's not the way we understand it. But in a literal sense, if you read it that way, that's what it looks like. The commandments of the Torah are present in the land of Israel. They're not present outside the land of Israel. Actually, Benjamin, who was with us for Rosh Hashanah, I studied this portion with him, and he pointed out, yes, but that's what is Yisrael? Li Rosh. I have a consciousness. It's what I do with my consciousness. My consciousness is connected to the land of Israel. And so part of the consciousness I need to have when I am observing the restrictions and the commandments is a connection to the land of Israel. When we say the Amidah, we take 3 steps back, leaving the physical realm, and the 3 steps forward are, I'm in Israel, I'm in Jerusalem, I'm in the Holy of Holies. Am I? Really there? Aren't I in Chicago's North Shore? No, you are where your consciousness, where you direct your consciousness. It's directed consciousness. Okay, keep going.
Hark, my beloved is knocking refers to Moses, who reproved
Yes.
Israel with many arguments and quarrels, as written. These are the words: you have been rebellious, and also in Horeb you provoked. This is the meaning of knocking.
Okay, because we're going to run out of time, I just want to read the first line of paragraph 2. Ve'al kol dvarim, the Moshe ochach laho leYisrael, b'chumo havo kol miloi dichtib, ki im am kadosh ata l'Hashem Elokecha, uvecha b'char Hashem Elokecha liyot lo la'am v'gomer, banim atem l'Hashem Elokechem v'atem adveikim b'Hashem, v'adash v'shamata b'kol Hashem Elokecha, ki me'ahabat Hashem etchem. So in the last paragraph, it's like, what did that mean from that verse from Shir Shir mean? You know, my beloved is knocking. This is Moses trying to wake us up. How's he waking us up? By criticizing us. You've been rebellious. You've been provoked. Why is he knocking us? Why are you doing that? Why are you dissing us that way? Okay, Phyllis, read 2.
Though Moses reproved Israel, all his words were with love, as written. For you are a holy people to Hashem, your Elohim. Hashem, your Elohim, has chosen you to be a special people to himself. You are the children of Hashem, your Elohim. But you that did cleave, therefore obey the voice of Hashem, your Elohim, because Hashem loved you. This is the meaning of open to me, my sister, my love, spoken affectionately.
So what is the love affair all about? It's between the Creator and us. The love that the Creator has for us is unconditional. So for us, this is connecting to unconditional love. It's like Kabbalah 1, class 1. To manifest the light, you need to be like the light. Which means in every circumstance in our life, we want to show up with unconditional love. Now, not everyone is deserving of it. Not everyone is deserving of our sharing our energy. Some people may just be taking energy and giving it to them. In that case, not giving it to them is sharing. But generally speaking, this is an opportunity for a self-check, for us to listen to the messages, for us to pay attention to what messages the Creator is sending us, for us to stand when things don't go right. A Creator loves us no less. The Creator's love for us is always on a scale of 1 to 10 and 11. Always. Yes, Phyllis.
Open to me, my sister, my love. What is my sister in that phrase?
Because Hashem loved you. I think this was probably a reference to the female aspect of the Creator.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I would think so also. Like, this is the way in which the love of the Creator shows up for us. When we're in a tough time, when we're doing the right thing, when we're having a tough experience, we embrace that process and we wait for the light to show up. And the light shows up. And then it's like, it's like we got to show appreciation. So like as difficult as things are, we need to be able to take a look back and look at all the blessings that we have. And again, when we're on this path, this is directly a path charted for us by the Rav and Karen. And so today, again, as we wrap up, specifically, it's about our connection to the Rav. And all that the Rav did to help us see a deeper reality, connect to unconditional love, unconditional happiness, connect to the upper realm, the realm of fulfillment, in his words, the flawless universe, and manifest the Garden of Eden in our realm. That's what we're doing. We are manifesting that energy through our study, through our tools, and through our consciousness. All right, everybody. Thank
Okay.
you all.
Shalom.
Love you all. Have a
Thank
great weekend. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Thanks, David.
shalom.
Also,
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Oh God, I
Thank
gotta
you,
break
David.
the meals. I gotta go.